going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, if you followed my channel or channels like mine for the better part of the last 2 years, you'll know that several times we've covered rumors about a Hawkeye Season 2, and real recently, coming from trusted industry insider sources like Daniel RPK, they even went as far as to talk about the plot, the villain, etc. Well, we just had a huge bombshell article break from Variety under the headline, Jeremy Renner turned down Hawkeye Season 2. We're going to break down this entire article, why he turned it down, and the reason he gives is legit. We're going to talk about why that is as well, and what Marvel and Disney did in order for him to turn this down in the first place. We're breaking it all down, why Jeremy Renner turned down Hawkeye Season 2, and if we're ever going to get one. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing lately. We are growing again at a breakneck pace, something I really haven't seen since the days of Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us as content creators here at the channel. Plus, I'll enter you for the giveaways. Stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this article actually broke about 15 minutes ago. It's going to be a little bit longer than that before my editor gets it up. From Variety, under the headline, Jeremy Renner turned down Hawkeye Season 2 because he was offered half his salary from Season 1. Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over? They go on to report, quote, Jeremy Renner is speaking out about why there is no second season of Hawkeye yet. In a new interview with High Performance, Renner, who plays Clint Barton, says he was offered half of his salary from the first season of the Disney Plus series. Quote, they asked me to do Season 2, and they offered me half of the money. And I'm like, well, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half of the amount of money, and 8 months of my time, essentially, to do it for half the amount, he said. They continue by writing, quote, Renner went on to suggest that the proposed lower salary was a result of his near-fatal 2023 snowmobile accident. Quote, I'm like, I'm sorry, why? Did you think I'm only half Jeremy because I got ran over? Maybe that's why you want to pay me half of what I made on the first season? For the record, guys, even though Variety spins it that way in the interview, he was kind of joking, but he does continue in a very serious tone and say this, quote, this is not Marvel, mind you. This is just like Disney. It's not even really Disney, it's the penny pinchers and the accountants. I told them to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. So we didn't see eye to eye on it, Renner continued, adding that he's not ruling out a return to Hawkeye in the future. Quote, sadly, I still love the character. I'd still love to do it, but I had to defend myself. I didn't ask for any more money, mind you, just pay me what I made from the first season. So it's all just disheartening that things didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm happy to let that go because my body's probably thanking me time and time again, and I'm not doing it right now, but we'll see. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world would Marvel and Disney make a quote-unquote insulting offer or cut the pay in half for Jeremy Renner, an OG Avenger, for a second season of Hawkeye? And it's really got a lot to do with how much the regime has changed over at the top brass of Disney and how much their MO has changed in developing TV shows. Look, Brad Winderbaum, who's the vice president and the president of Marvel Television, so the guy who would know, the guy who's calling the shots, has mentioned that they're more interested in street-level stories and heroes, the things they can afford to do at television without taking a huge swing. And this is why you just heard that they canceled the Nova television show and some others, because the budgets would have just been too high for the limited amount of money they make. They don't drive the subscriptions that they were hoping for to Disney Plus, and in worst case scenarios, like say She-Hulk, they end up becoming an enormous CGI sink and then poorly received after that anyway. So in going forward, they're trying to limit the budgets on all of these Disney Plus shows as much as possible. And it's also possible that Jeremy Renner wouldn't have played as huge a role in Season 2, but the show's literally named after him, and like he said, he didn't ask for a raise, he just said, give me what you paid me last time, and I think it's totally understandable that if they only wanted to pay him half, he wasn't interested in that kind of shoot, especially considering he's an OG Avenger. There's got to be some money there earned for the legacy. Now, that being said, I don't think this rules him out of Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars. If they make the right offer, he's interested in being in those movies, because obviously it won't be a Hawkeye Season 2, it's not his name up front, and he would be in a diminished role. But with the Hawkeye Season 2 door still being left open, and as I mentioned during the prologue, Daniel RPK had been extremely vocal in the last 6 to 7 months about what Hawkeye Season 2's plot might be, a raid-style television show, maybe all shot in one location, with Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld returning. And in the last couple of updates we heard there was an offer extended to a huge actor to play Barney Barton, who's the older brother of Clint Barton and would have been the antagonist of the show. Now, it's absolutely true, if you add up all the breaking stories over the last year, there have been more show and movie cancellations than there have been new announcements for projects. And guys, we are in that brave new world, pun totally intended, where Marvel and Disney are not going to drop $250 million on any old project like they did for Avengers Secret Invasion. And Jeremy Renner knows exactly what he's talking about. It is the accountants, it is the penny pinchers who have gone in and put an absolute lockdown on the just profuse spending that was going on. And for example, as I just previously mentioned, Secret Invasion reportedly cost Marvel $250 million. Dune 2 only cost $190 million to make. Where did the money go? And so in that light, and I am going to get just maybe a little more out of pocket than I normally do, what really happened here starts way before Bob Chapek and him just greenlighting any old show to try to pump out content on Disney Plus, because that was part of the problem, but it started way earlier than that. And it's when James Gunn was able to make the Guardians of the Galaxy a relatively unknown and not super popular superhero team, take them and turn them into household names. That led Marvel, Kevin Feige, everyone over there to believe that they could use secondary and tertiary characters like She-Hulk and Agatha Harkness, put them out on Disney Plus, and they would perform well as some of these major franchise characters. The truth is that there were a couple of outliers along the way. Agatha was a great show. Even better than that, Werewolf by Night was one of the most amazing things Marvel Studios has done. But there's always been a hierarchy in publishing popularity of these characters, and just because James Gunn was able to do it once with Guardians of the Galaxy didn't mean that Marvel Studios was going to be able to put out these Disney Plus shows with any old character and get them to perform well. And now shows we wanted, like a Hawkeye Season 2 or a Moon Knight Season 2, are not going to happen. And it really just comes down to a lack of foresight and overspending, which honestly are problems that have plagued Hollywood productions since the beginning of time, and that's why it's so special when any good movie comes out or Marvel was able to go on the run that they did, because this is how hard it is to make it in Hollywood. And to be totally honest, guys, I am a little bummed. I thought everything we heard about Hawkeye Season 2 seemed really cool, and it seemed like the type of show they would make in lieu of canceling things like, Nova, because it was going to be a cosmic fairy TV show that would have cost too much money. If we can't get things like Hawkeye made because they're now offering OG Avengers half the dough, I shudder to think what Marvel Studios might look like going forward. And this isn't new. They've been doing this with who they've hired as talent behind the camera, both for scripting and directing, basically the entirety of Phase 4 and Phase 5. Go back and look at the number of names that wrote scripts or directed TV shows or films that did not literally have a single Hollywood credit before working at Marvel. And look, maybe it's for the best. Decrease the quantity to increase the quality, but they're still going to have to spend money. Marvel is one of the most expensive brands for a reason, and superhero movies is an expensive genre. So the spending needs to continue and in the right places, and I really think that Jeremy Renner, an OG Avenger, is the right place. Maybe you guys don't agree. Maybe you do. Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you're a sub. Leave a comment that enters you for the giveaways. Make sure you pound the notification bell to keep up with the videos. Smash the like button if you like the video. Find me on Instagram and Twitter under the name I Am Fires. Find me on all other platforms under the name All Fires with original music. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.